Welcome in, everybody. Hold on, let me get the chat room going. I am Pugs Moran, and this is the Rant. I'll bring this up a little more. This is the Rant. We do it every day. Not at this time. No, a very special. Rushed. A very special and rushed show today for you. Chat room. Is the chat room working? All right, here we go. All right. Sorry. Restarting now. Let's do it again. Hi, everybody. Welcome. My name is Pugs Moran, and I do this every day. We call it the Rant. Typically, it's around 2 o'clock. Used to be at noon. We did it at noon for like 3.5 years. Then we changed it. Today is a Friday. I wanted to come on. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of cleanup, but I figured we'd do it a little bit earlier. Why not? Say hi to the first people in. It's my boy, Barney. Barney! Taronda. Look at Taronda's here. That's it. That's it for right now at this weird time. That's okay. We'll wait. No, of course, I'm kidding. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff today. Obviously, we're going to get into the big breaking news of the morning. We all woke up to news that a man has been arrested in connection with the murder of conservative activist and pundit Charlie Kirk. So we'll get all into that. The funniest tweet that I saw, and I don't know, look, nobody thinks any of this is funny, but there are some, look, humor is a fabulous source for medicine and consolation and mourning. The funniest tweet that I saw this morning about the capture of 22-year-old Tyler Robinson out of Utah. He's a local kid. I guess he's a Mormon, comes from like a Mormon family. The funniest tweet that I saw about that this morning was from a black gentleman who I'm friends with on Twitter. And he tweeted, be honest, when you heard, remember, he's a black dude. He goes, be honest, when y'all heard the name Tyler Robinson, you got a little worried, didn't you? He's one of the white guys with a black guy name. That's the joke there. I don't know that we have to, but that's a thing. We have Tyler Robinson. He's either, as I said on Twitter, he's either a cornerback out of USC or he's a Mormon Utah assassin. It's one of the two. Hi, April. Girl, April's here a little bit earlier. By the way, I should also point out, just because we're going a little bit early doesn't mean that we're going to be doing an extra short show or anything like this. We could do a full show, but we won't because I don't really have that much material. Here's what we're going to do today. I know there's some other things breaking. There was a couple of things from today, new stuff, but for the most part, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the big story, the big breaking news, the capture of an assassin. That's right. The FBI and authorities held a press conference earlier today announcing 22-year-old Tyler Robinson of Utah has been arrested in connection with the assassination of Charlie Kirk a couple of days ago. Got a lot of thoughts on this, so we're going to dig deep into that. Shocking news today out of SNL. I'll share that with you. Shocking. I don't know if I'm angry. I'm just like, really? Okay. So we'll talk about that. What else do we have to get into? I'm going to finish my review on the Charlie Sheen documentary that's been airing on Netflix since I think Tuesday. I think they posted it Tuesday or Wednesday. It's called AKA Charlie Sheen. It is 3 hours, 2 episodes. Part 1 is an hour and a half. Part 2 is an hour and a half. I've seen it all, and I'll have a full review for you because it is the weekend and we all need something to watch. AKA Charlie Sheen right there on Netflix. You can check that out. I also want to finally give my thoughts on this Charlotte murder situation that's been covered everywhere. It was covered everywhere until the Charlie Kirk thing happened. And then, we can only, as a nation, focus on one story at a time. We can only be fully invested and completely enthralled by one thing at a time. So we moved on from that. So I'm going to bring that back. I want to talk about it. I haven't really opined on that particular story yet. So I feel like I want to do that. And a whole bunch of other things we'll get into today. Hey, first and foremost, don't know if you follow me or anything like that on any of the fun little social media platforms. You can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter. Everything is Pugs Moran. Or, honestly, just go to Google and put Pugs Moran social media. It'll all come up. I've done it that way before. Like, follow, subscribe, all of that stuff. Again, this is talk radio for normal people, performed every day via a stream of consciousness. I have no notes. I have nobody to talk to. I don't take any breaks. It's just me talking about the world, trying to be interesting. But we'll see how that goes, right? Let's see. What else? What else was I going to say? Oh, so if you follow me on Facebook, Pugs and Company, Pugs Moran, Radio Misfits. Oh, there's so many. Follow me on Facebook. You saw that I was posted. I'm back talking about my kid again, ladies and gentlemen. Hey. Dad brag's coming. Red alert. Well, it's football season. And, you know, my kid's a football player. He plays football for a local Texas high school. And all right, 1 2 1 2 1 2. Stupid. The restarted device. How is this? Is it working now? Can you hear me 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 now? Okay, this is obnoxious because if you can't hear me, that's like terrible. No, fuck. I don't know what to tell you other than we're just. Yay. Oh, it was work. There it is. Yay. There it is. All right. Thank you. See, that was good. That was teamwork. That was teamwork between me and y'all. Because oftentimes when Restream shits the bed, as it has been doing every fucking day, I'm on another page. This particular time I was on the home page, and I got a little blurb that popped up on my screen that says, restart your modem mute sounds. And I'm like, fuck. So I do apologize, but we're back now. Okay. I don't even know where we were. Oh, I was talking about the kid. All right, so I made it to my first game of the season, right? Now, you should know, and if you've been with me for 3 years, you know that his team is really good. Like, remember 2 years ago, his freshman team, they went undefeated. And then last year, they won their division, but they got a little lazy in the middle. They lost 3 straight games, but still ended up like, you know, they only lost 4 all season, but, you know, whatever. They still won the division and they were good last year, but a little bit of a hiccup. So this year we were wondering, we're like, what are they going to look like as the junior varsity? What is this group of guys going to look like as the junior varsity? This group of guys who seriously, I think only have like 4 losses in their entire high school career as a team in 3 seasons of football, or at least 2 in whatever we're in now. So that's pretty good. We didn't know what we were getting. Guess what we're getting? We are 3-0, man. We are 3-0. Last night was the third consecutive blowout for my son's team. The first game was played out in Royce City on a Thursday night a couple of weeks ago when those horrible storms blew through. The game was delayed for an hour and a half. It was raining the whole time. I did not go to that game. Picked a good one to miss. It's, sitting on the rainy bleachers. They won that game 21-0. 21-0. Last week they won 37-12, and then last night they won 46-6. They're good. And the quarterback is way better than he was last year. The quarterback's been fine, but looks like quarterback went to some quarterback camps because this kid is dropping back, planting his foot, and slinging it. Anyway, very exciting night. Very exciting night last night. My kids' team is 3-0. It's kids' weekend too. He's coming with me this weekend. I always get excited on kids' weekends. All right. Any other notes from the game? Yeah, here you go. You want to know something here? Okay, so we're sitting there, and it was 42-6. And by the way, they have this incredible 2-point conversion play that they almost always use because nobody can stop this silly, stupid 2-point conversion play that they run. But they also have a kicker now. So now they're not really doing the 2-point conversion. They're scoring a lot of touchdowns, but they're kicking the extra point now because they're getting older and the kids have new skills. And they're perfect on kicks so far this year. So they've got the 1 point every time. Now, all of us parents, we know this team can run this 2-point conversion. So it was 42-6. And the game was coming down to the final minute and a half yesterday. And the other team, Princeton, they were pushing. They were, when you're down that much, you just want to make something happen. So they, with 1 minute on the clock, they pushed a little hard and threw a pick that our guys returned to the 3-yard line. So now there's less than a minute to go in the game. We have the ball again. It's 1st and goal from the 3. It's 42-6. We all know that 50 is in reach, right? We're all like, 50! We want 50! Because with the 6 points for the touchdown, which they would inevitably score because they couldn't be stopped all night, they would have scored 6. And then it's like, now let's break out the 2-point. Let's go for 50. And the parents, especially the ones that are out there, we're getting 50. We're going to go for 50. Oh, they're going to run that 2-point conversion. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, no, I bet they don't. I love this coach. This coach is a man. This coach is a dude. I bet they take 2 consecutive kneels and end the game. They don't need to punch it in. They don't need to win 50-6. They don't need to run a 2-point conversion play to humiliate the other team. They took 2 knees. I was so proud. I'm like, that's how you do it. That's a sportsmanship, man. I don't know, in this era where all the rules seem to be rewritten, right? Alpha males give no mercy or whatever. They did the classy thing. They were sportsmen. They were gentlemen. So I just wanted to mention that. That was pretty awesome. All right. Got to mention this. Got to mention this just because I don't mention it much, but it's got to be mentioned. This show has run for so many years on your gratuities. I have not asked for anything. If you folks can help the show out today, that'd be great. Drop a little tip somewhere in the Venmo or the Cash App if you support this kind of independent talk radio every day. Just a reminder, right? I know we go hard on Pledge Month, but what I've been trying to do lately is not pitch when it's not Pledge Week, the last week of the month. But that's just not a fact. I got to pitch. We got to try and, keep the train on the tracks. So if anybody's out there want to help out this show, drop a little something today. That'd be great. All right. What else do we need to do? See, let me check my notes. I don't know if do I want to jump right into the big story or let's see here. Yeah, all right. So here we go. Let's just get right into this, right? The big story today is, of course, there has now officially been an arrest. I don't know if we're going to call it breaking. It's not breaking. That bothers me. That was breaking when I wrote it earlier this morning. Let's change that. There you go. It's a developing story at this point. It broke hours ago. I get, you know me, I always get really like up in arms. I'm like, this is journalism 101. They are purposely misusing the terms in order to fucking trick us into thinking this is something new. CNN is the worst at that. And I don't know, I shouldn't say CNN is the worst because, like I say, I don't watch MSNBC, I don't watch Fox, and I barely watch CNN. But when there is some big boots on the ground, need to be there kind of story breaking, plane crash, something happened somewhere, CNN always has great boots on the ground coverage for straight news. Not talking about political news. So I'm just saying, they also tend to like really run the breaking news. Like, you can have a story that breaks at 9 a.m. and at 2 a.m. the next day, they're still saying breaking news. And I'm like, no, it's not. Their justification would be, well, it's breaking for someone seeing it right now for the first time, to which I would say, fuck you. You fucking misusing the terms. All right, there's an arrest. His name is Tyler Robinson, not a black guy. I know, sounds like a black guy took out Charlie Kirk because Charlie Kirk once said that blacks were better off in slavery. Yeah, that's probably why a black guy might want to kill him. I don't know. I'm not a black guy. Never been a black guy. Never wanted to kill anyone either. Not really kill. I mean, I've been angry. I've been like, I'd kill that guy. But not like, I'm going to start planning a murder. All right, let's see what we can find out about this guy. Not that I'm going to tell you anything you don't know, because I'm pretty sure that all of you are well briefed on the events of this morning and all of the different details about the life of 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. Can I ask a question, though, just before we get into this? And again, let me restate. I am neither a Republican. I think those people are dorks. And I am not a liberal. I think those people are dorks, okay? I am for the 70% of us that are normal people. Some of us are a little right, some of us are a little left, but we're not the freaks. We're not the 15 crazy on the right and the 15 crazy on the left. So I look at this whole story in this way. Let me knock it down for you. Is it a national tragedy? Yes, it is. Is it a national tragedy because of, what I should say is, it is a national tragedy. It is a national tragedy, just as every mall shooting is a national tragedy, just as every other event that involves some crazy person with a rifle, right? Those are all national tragedies. We're numb to a lot of them. A lot of ones, oh, just another schools, oh, just another mall shooting, this is kind of a new variant of the shocking mayhem, bullets flying story that we've come to know as daily fodder. So it's a little different, a little bit of a change up. This is a high profile personality who has now been assassinated. It is a tragedy. It is a tragedy when a nation that is based on the idea that you should be able to say the most shitty things you want without any fear of repercussion from, now I know the technicality is the government. There are still consequences to running your mouth. I talked about it the day this happened, the construct of the First Amendment. The First Amendment's just some words some dude wrote on a piece of paper, and we all collectively, for a time, agreed to go, no, that's real. That's real. Because we all collectively, that's a construct, okay? It's really just some words on a piece of paper. They don't mean anything. You can be somebody who thinks you have a right to say whatever you want, and you are indemnified against prosecution by authorities, any governmental authority. You are indemnified from that. Right there, the First Amendment says you can. That doesn't protect you from fucking crazy people. Doesn't protect you from somebody who's just like, I don't give a fuck, I'll go to jail for the rest of my life. It doesn't. There are people out there like that. So we have become a society where there's an entire generation comfortable with saying things to one another that in my day would get you a broken jaw. Which, I mean, I don't. And I also think, I've said this many times, I think this is just because of the way that this generation of new young American has learned to communicate. They don't hang out in each other's bedrooms anymore. I'll give you an example. I got a 16-year-old son. He's lived in the same neighborhood for 12 years. He grew up in this neighborhood. And I said to him, I go, how come you ain't got no friends in this neighborhood? Like, when I grew up, right, your best friends for life were people who you had nothing initially in common, nothing more in common with than your parents bought real estate in the same neighborhood. That's it. Dorky kids I hated, whatever. They were the only kids within walking distance on my block. So we played baseball with them and kicked the can at night and all of those things. I knew every kid in my neighborhood. My kids lived in his neighborhood for 10 years. You don't know any of them. Doesn't have to. He can stay in contact with the people he wants to stay in contact and be around constantly online, through his Discord, through, Snapchats, or through another example, my son's best friend. My kid and I are watching a football game. My kid's on the couch and I'm cooking in the kitchen and I'm talking to him. And all of a sudden I realize there's a third person in the room with us because he's got his buddy on the phone the whole time. And I'm like, dude, you got to tell people that. I thought it was just you and me talking. So because of this new way that this entire generation has been conditioned to relate and interact with one another, they don't really need to go and hang out in the driveway of the dork down the street like we all did. It's like one of my best friends. Look, man, I mean, I got a guy who I still love. And I got nothing in common with him. We got nothing in common other than the fact that we lived across the street from each other. That's it. We lived across the street from each other. We got a lot of memories together. Yeah, I love him. He loves me. But we don't hang out. It's like he would be appalled by me on social media, and I would probably be appalled by him. But again, we are friends and lifelong friends, and we learned to get past our differences because we were face to face with one another and didn't want to fight every time we saw one another. That's not the case for this entire generation who has grown up online without any repercussions for the way they talk to each other. And by the way, please, I want to be clear about this. I'm not saying that this is specific to the Charlie Kirk situation. What I'm saying is, in general, we are dealing now with an entire generation who thinks it's okay to run their mouth and have no consequences. I mean, I know some of them, I'm not making a sweeping statement across the board or anything like that, but a lot of them, they don't think. They'll just, if they find themselves in person, if they find themselves with somebody and they're irritated and they just casually like blurt something out that they would normally just tweet out or at them or whatever, violence happens. We're in a violent society because everybody's a dick to one another and everybody can get something to perpetrate violence with. Crazy people can get guns. Crazy people get triggered easily. You say something to a crazy person, and before you know it, he's walking up to you at the bus stop and putting a bullet in your head. I think we've got an entire generation that doesn't know how to fucking be civil. They don't. I mean, if you ever... This isn't new for me. I've been online since, 1998? And I was a young man then, but I was a man. I was a grown-up. From the very beginning, it's been absolutely shocking the way we interact with one another. I don't know what this has to do with the whole Charlie Kirk thing, it probably has a lot to do with it, but I'm not comfortable bluntly connecting the dots for you. You can put it together. You know what I'm saying. People are mean. Step 1, people are mean. Step 2, fucking crazy people out there. Step 3, mean people are sometimes mean to crazy people. Step 4, crazy person buys a gun and murders that guy. Free speech be damned. First Amendment be damned. How did the First Amendment protect you when there was a lunatic with a rifle on a roof? So we got to be more conscious of what we're saying to people. Can we tone it down? I'm not going to say that. Who am I? I have fucking half a dozen, followers. Nobody's going to listen to me. Everybody is saying it, though. I mean, everybody is saying it. I've been, you people who've been with me since 2021 when we started this show daily, you have heard nothing but consistent rhetoric about shut the fuck up, stop stirring it up, and let's try and not be divisive. I think I'm a great example of, I don't pat myself on the back, but I think I'm a great example of someone who's not looking in any way at all to be divisive. My friend. Well, do you know my friends? My friends are all over the place, and I love them all dearly. The chat room is a great example. I bet you I could have just as good a time hanging out with Adam Reyna, and I've hung out with Adam. Adam goes back with the shows I've been doing for years. Adam's a fucking fun dude to go out and drink beers with and have fun with. He's witty. He's funny. He's really only an asshole online. Great example. Adam Reyna is an asshole on the phone and online. In real life, you're like, why doesn't this guy show up more? There's Adam. And then we got like Barney, my boy Barney. Barney's the polar opposite of him. I don't fucking care what Barney says. Barney says some shit. Who the fuck is Barney? I like Barney, but and he should say the same about me. Who the fuck are you? And just blow it off and concentrate on the things we have in common, which I think we laugh at the same things. And I think, I don't think I'm divisive at all. And I think if you listen to this show, you'll hear me equally go. I said it the other day. I think the best testament to what I've tried to do over the past couple of years here, especially talking about big news events as they happen, I think I have been the sort of person, and this is what I said the other day, that any particular big story that's breaking, if you tune in here looking for, my opinion on it or my thoughts on it, I'm hoping that you're not entirely sure which way I'm going to go. Because we've been conditioned in this world to think that the response to every news story is one of two things. Whatever fucking Alexander, what's her name? Whatever that chick is saying, and whatever Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying. Well, I'm here to tell you there's a lot more options and a lot more ways to react to stories and news than those two fucking idiots. Those two divisive, shit-stirring idiots. Although, gotta go on record, I think AOC's hot. That's what she goes by, right? What's that? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I think she's hot. I also think Boebert's hot. So I go both ways. I also think Boebert was a call girl. I do. I believed it. I saw an ad and I'm stupid. And I'm like, she looks like the type that would be a call girl. She's got like the trampy call girl tattoo, Doesn't change the fact that she's hot. All right. So we're hearing a lot more people now publicly. This is what I was saying. I've been saying this for 4 years. I've been preaching this for 4 years. I'm seeing something from far right train wreck Russell Brand. That dude's a train wreck, man. I'm sorry. So many people have discovered Russell Brand recently because he's saying things that appeal to them and things that they want to hear. He's a fucking train wreck, but okay. All right. He put out a thing yesterday about the divisiveness and how we're all being divisive. Interestingly enough, while he was doing it, he was being as divisive as anybody. Calling out the nation and calling out our attitudes and blaming us for being divisive and then saying it's only one side who's divisive is being divisive. Stop it with the gaslighting. That's a high degree of gaslighting there because you're making people do some mental gymnastics. Russell Brand. We're all so divisive. It's terrible. The thing is that we've got to stop being, I can't do his stupid British accent. The thing is, we got to stop being divisive. And if the left would just stop being, it's like, dude, what? Nobody gets it. And then Joe Rogan yesterday put out a big thing. I guess he was interviewing Charlie Sheen. He was interviewing Charlie Sheen during the Charlie Kirk breaking news story from the other day. Which, by the way, mental note, got to go back and listen to that. That'll be a good one. And Joe himself started talking about how this is insane. We've got to stop it. It's all this divisiveness. It's all this stirring it up. So people are starting to talk about now. People with bigger platforms, and but I'm glad to see it. Just trying to remind you all. That was my thing. That was my thing going back 4 years. The divisiveness, how fucking stupid it is. And here's where it comes from. I know exactly where it comes from. It doesn't come from any true or sincere hatred of your neighbor. It comes from the fact that we're fat, successful, bored, and absent a clear enemy. This fucking country has always had a clear enemy. WWE metrics. Good guy, bad guy, face, heel. I grew up in a time when, it was pretty fucking clear. The entire United States of America hated fucking Russia. It was a Cold War. They were the enemy. We were all united. We had one clear person to fucking hate. And then that all went away. 90, the wall came down and we won. Did we? Did we win? Because in the absence of a clear enemy, I mean, we've gone back and forth. It's very confusing. Who are we mad at? Do we hate Iran or Iraq? Both? Okay. What about just Muslims in general? We got a problem. That's what we're going to hate. We're going to hate them. That lasted for a little while. North Korea. We hate North Korea. But then everybody kind of realized that they're honestly nothing. And we shouldn't really be that worried about them. Maybe Japan should be, but not necessarily us. So then we invented China. China is our biggest economic trading partner. We are the seesaw of this globe. Stop fucking with China. China doesn't want America to go out of business, okay? And they don't want to capture America and turn us into their little puppet state. You know why? Because we make Chinese people rich. China, in their system, needs to have our system so that they can sell their slave labor shit to us at premium markups. China doesn't want us gone, okay? We're their biggest customer base. So we were left with absolutely no clear person to hate, and we turned on each other. I was talking yesterday about, the end of the Clinton administration, where it seemed like that was about as bad as we could get in this country as far as being politically divided. Oh, man, I would kill to return to those days. Newt Gingrich in 1988 was goddamn gentleman compared to the shit that we see now, right? Who was our worst Democratic senator back then? Ted Kennedy? My nation for a Ted Kennedy in place of a fucking Adam Schiff. I'm not crazy. We've changed. And we've changed because we haven't had a clear enemy. So we decided, because we were bored, remember, going back to the beginning, the United States of America, we are fucking fat, we are wealthy, and we are constantly on the lookout for something to entertain us next. And we love to be mad at something. So without that, we started turning our view inward. And then with the rise of social media, where all of us were now allowed to say whatever fucked up shit we wanted without any real repercussions in real time, that's how we got here. That has been the changes of our world in the last 25 years. And now we've got an emerging generation who that's all they know. So when people are out there now, like your Russell Brands and your Joe Rogans and myself too, and we are pleading for some form of civility, a return to that, I think the ship has sailed. I really do. I think the ship has sailed simply because of the way this entire generation has been indoctrinated as far as how to have a fight, how to have an argument, how to have a disagreement. All right, so now let's get back into the Tyler Robinson story. Tyler Robinson, 22-year-old Mormon kid, white Mormon kid from Utah. Tyler Robinson. I would have bet, racial bingo. I would have completely gone black dude. That's a black dude. That's a cornerback or possibly a wide receiver. It turns out he's a white kid. Turns out he's a white kid from a good home. I do have a question, though. Here is another element to what I was just ranting on. No there's too many sources for information, and there are too many duplicitous people with agendas who want the information that we receive to be something that's going to swing them in their direction. Right? That's what we've got now. We've got a bunch of people. We used to call him the fat guy in his mom's basement on the keyboard, pretending he's running a newspaper. Well, it's much bigger than that now. We've got entirely well-funded networks who have popped up out of nowhere, funded by the absolute worst people among us, who are now just creating disinformation and misinformation and clouding everything and playing to specific audiences. You target the audience you want. Okay, I want people who believe mermaids are real. All right, we're doing an entire news network based on, if the story should ever come up, we believe mermaids are real. Let's go. That's not news. That's not information. I talked about this yesterday. News was a middle-aged man in a shirt with a tie undone, black and white, smoking a cigarette, telling us Kennedy's dead. What Walter Cronkite, the day that John F. Kennedy was shot here in Dallas in 1963, Walter Cronkite, after breaking that news, didn't turn to some fuck sitting on the dais next to him and go, "What do you think about this?" That's not information, okay? It's propaganda, and it doesn't matter if they're saying what you like or what you don't like. It's the same thing. It's propaganda. It's mind candy, and it's only serving to fucking confuse us. Case in point. What the fuck was this story yesterday that they recovered a gun and it had transcribed stuff all over it? So for 12 hours yesterday, I'm like, yeah, another trans shooter. Yeah, maybe there is a problem. Maybe there's a point to all of this. I got a picture of the gun right here. I don't see, where's here? I want to show you this. Where the fuck? Bullet casings, and we'll get into all of that. Hold on. Maybe I don't have it. I don't know. Yeah, it's on my Twitter page. Go to my Twitter page if you want to see it. Anyway, the FBI released a picture of the gun that they recovered. There's nothing scrolled. There's nothing written on it at all. The bullets have stuff on it. The bullets, he wrote all kinds of stuff, and we're going to break that down too. We're going to figure out the governor of Utah was kind enough today at the press conference to kind of just give us a breakdown on what these scrawlings on the bullets are believed to mean. And I say are believed to mean because what the fuck does he know? He's climbing into the mind of some crazy 22-year-old. And what is happening with our 22-year-olds? This is like the fourth out of the last 6 who have been in this age range who are just deciding that this is how they do. Well, maybe it has to do with everything I just said about how they don't have any friends in the neighborhood. They don't see anybody face to face. Everything is visual. They talk shit online. They've been told since they're 9 years old that they have problems that they need to take Ritalin for, and then Adderall, and then whatever else. Entire generation is fucked up, and they're all now just getting guns and killing people because he said something mean. All right, so the gun was fucked up. All right, here we go. Let's learn about the subject that was captured today and how that went down, because there are some fascinating details, and I've got opinions. Tyler Robinson is his name. He was turned in by his pops. Hold on, got to put the news on. How about that, huh? Was that a shocking... which also, before I get into the whole interesting situation there where he was turned in by his father, who was a Mormon minister and a retired either sheriff or captain. I've heard both. We don't know, so whatever. But he's definitely retired law enforcement. Before we get into that, can I just point something out? It has been, 3 days now since Charlie Kirk was assassinated there in Utah. We've got Kash Patel delaying the meeting so that he could be there. The meeting was supposed to stay, it was delayed like 2 hours because he wanted to fly in so that he could be there for the meeting. Just let the authorities on the ground do it, dude. You don't need to be seen so that people can go, that's our FBI director and he's got his hands in everything. He's in charge. I don't want you in charge, man. I don't know that you're even qualified for this gig. So stay in Washington and let's hit the press conference time at the time it's supposed to be. Anyway, case in point, these fucks had nothing. They had nothing. They had the gun. It's been 3 days, right? And I'm waiting like the Boston bomber manhunt. I'm waiting for something like that. Turns out the kid told his dad and his dad just picked up the phone. That's how he got caught. Not police work, not investigate, not they're out there like, we got him. We got him. Did you see that? I'm like, oh, stop it. Let's be clear about how our incredible FBI got him. Dad called. Okay? Dad. How weird is that? I don't know that I could do that. I was thinking about that. Like the minute I read that, I started thinking if my kid came to me and said, well, God, I mean, knock wood, grace of God, my kid doesn't give a shit about politics. So that's good. That's good. I love it that he's not been radicalized. He's like me at his age. He's like, I don't fucking care. I'm into chicks. I'm into football and, going to college, thinking about that. But if my kid came to me and told me that because we've seen these movies before, right? Where like, a dad has to get the kid out of town because he killed his girlfriend during sex or something. So, something weird. And I've always been consistent on that, even before I had a kid of my own. I was like, yeah, I got a problem with that. I think that's, I think that if you've got a kid who is got some serious charges hanging over him, I think if you're the police, you better watch dad real close before you put the kid in cuffs. Or if he's out on bail or whatever, waiting trial, whatever, you better watch that family. Because I, for one, would get my fucking kid out of here. One, I don't really anymore trust whatever the fuck our so-called authorities are telling us. I used to, and I know I'm late to the party on this because this is just a new thing for me within like the last few months. Like I don't trust any of it anymore. I don't trust the FBI. I don't trust any government statement. I don't trust anything anymore. Y'all haven't trusted it for years, and now I'm with you. Now I'm like, yep, you're right. So if my kid's like, yeah, they got me for murder, they're saying I murdered this person, I'm going to be like, okay, let's get you out of here. How do we do this? So this dad, what his dad did was he called one of his minister buddies, a high-ranking minister, and apparently then they just called the police and they turned themselves in, and Tyler Robinson turned himself in. So that, yes, you know what? I'm sorry. I almost double clutched on that because the dude's such a fucking monster and just one of the worst Americans in history for thinking that this is the way that you get Charlie Kirk out of the way. So I don't want to give him, the credit, but he turned himself in. Okay. Wasn't arrested. We got him. Did you see that at the beginning of the press conference? We got him. No, you didn't. His dad narked on him. What do you mean you got him? You fucking glory thieves. That ain't you. I guess they can't come out and go, his dad turned him in. You're going to want to. Trump likes a visual. Trump wouldn't like that if he's in the White House watching. He just went, we got him. Oh, and then the fucking cringy FBI director, referencing like, what was it that he said? You've done tonight from curved horns in Valhalla. It was like some weird, cringy internet chat group dork out that I know Cash Patel's not a tough guy. Sorry, he's not a tough guy. You ever see? He's not a tough guy. His eyes going two different directions. He's scrawny. He's been overcompensating his whole life. So he has all of these performative alpha things. And that was one of them. And it was so fucking cringy. That's the speech that Ragnar gives in Vikings that I love, where he goes, and should we die tonight, we will drink ale from curved horns in Valhalla. I just like the way he says ale from curved horns. Because that's how they drink. That's how the Vikings drank. I guess the Vikings, slaves. I was going to say, I guess the Vikings don't like to put their drink down because if you're drinking out of a curved horn, you can't put that drink down. And then I remembered Vikings all had slaves. So I guess you don't need to worry about putting your drink down if you got to. Here, hold this, wench. That's how Vikings did it. Yeah, guys, I'm still doing my Vikings rewatch, okay? I'm like on season 4 now. I've also started Last Kingdom, which is an incredible companion piece, which I actually think might be better. I think Last Kingdom is probably better than Vikings, but I digress. Back to Tyler Robinson. So his dad turns him in here. Let's see what this is. Now let's figure out what we know about him. This comes from no less a source than the Daily Mail UK. One of the great bullshit tabloids of the world's journalism corners, but whatever. They have fun stories, and they always have like the details that other media outlets are like, yeah, we're not sure about that. So we're not the Daily Mail, or the New York Post. They run with all of that shit. So let's see what we got here. It says here, the suspect in Charlie Kirk's assassination was not registered with any political party and did not vote in the November presidential election, according to public records. Wow, that sucks, because I didn't vote in the last election either, and I hate to think that I have anything in common with this weirdo, but look at us. Look at us. Look at you. Look at me. Tyler. The alleged assassin was named a 22-year-old Tyler Robinson from Washington, Utah. He's a student in the electrical apprenticing program at Dixie Technical College in St. George. Officials said Robinson became more political. Now, officials say that again. I don't. The officials are going to craft the narrative from the beginning because we're all listening to them to see what they know. So that's an advantage. Used to not be something I worried about. I thought officials were really only interested in getting crime off the streets, saving us from bad guys, and making sure they've got a case that they can win. But I don't know. Social media narratives are important. So it says here, officials said Robinson became more political in recent years. Okay. And spoke about disliking the conservative activists' ideas, officials said. Okay. So again, it's all coming from that side. Robinson was turned into police overnight by his father and a fellow minister in southern Utah after authorities shared images of the shooter. So when they put out those pictures yesterday, and by the way, I had a whole show ready for us to go where we were going to break down rooftop video and these side-by-sides and all these fun, crazy little things that were circulating, but all that's for now because thankfully we got this guy. Oh, we didn't. Dad turned him in. Never forget, we didn't get him. Dad turned him in. Osama bin Laden, we got Osama bin Laden, right? Brian Koberger, right? The kid who slaughtered those Idaho colleges. We got him. They got him. The Boston bombing, the Dzhokhar Jokovic. Why do I want to put him in the NBA? Dzhokhar, what were they? Tsarnaev, Dzhokhar, and Mandolin. Let's go with Mandolin. It was Dzhokhar and Mandolin Tsarnaev. We got them. We didn't get this guy. This guy walked in. Hey, y'all looking for me? So let's stop taking the credit. Suspect's arrest came after Utah Governor Spencer Cox pled with public to help find the person who shot the 31-year-old Kirk. The FBI was offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of Kirk's killer. Question: does Dad collect that $100,000 reward? Shouldn't make any difference at all that it's his father. And like, do you think he'll be hung up on it? Like, oh, no, you keep that. I don't need that. Or is he just going to take it? Might he feel skeevy taking $100,000 for turning his son in? I'll tell you is, the play is, first of all, I got to tell you what I believe here. I believe that his father is probably a very good man. And I believe his father feels he's doing the right thing and following the law, and all of this is so. I don't think the father is a bad man. I've already told you that me and a bunch of other people probably would be bad people because we try and get our kid like Venezuela or someplace that doesn't have extradition. Not this guy. This guy was like, look, this is wrong. This is terrible. This is not good. So, son, we're going to go in there. And so that's what this guy did. But does he collect the $100,000? I would collect the $100,000, and you're going to need it. You're going to have lawyers. There's going to be money that's going to be needed. Collect the $100,000. The government better give him the $100,000. Like, they better not. Like, I could totally see Kash Patel being like, Well, you see, there is this. Did you read the fine print? Can't be a blood relative. Cannot know anybody who works at this radio station. You cannot have won in the last 30 days. There's always rules. There's always rules that you didn't know about. Watch, this probably got rules too. Tyler Robinson, it says here, was not registered with any political party. Boy, that probably upsets a whole bunch of you, doesn't it? It's a whole. Well, I think it upsets some of you to find that he wasn't registered with any one particular party. It upsets some of you. Many others of you are just going to ignore that because it doesn't fit the narrative that you want. So have at it. I don't care. It says here he was a registered voter, but not affiliated with any political party in Utah. Public records showed that he was an inactive voter, meaning that he did not cast a vote in the 2024 presidential elections. It's the first one that he would have had been old enough to vote in. However, Robinson's grandmother told the Daily Mail the alleged killer grew up in a very Republican and conservative household. Robinson does not have a criminal record. Well, yeah. We're going to look at a video of him. There's a just to get a look at what he is, because you know me, I like to say I do three things really well. Find parking at a mall during Christmas shopping. I'm so good at that. Rest of you fucks can drive around for hours. I don't know. I'll pull into a mall at 5 o'clock on Christmas Eve, and I will get a spot right next to the handicap one. I'm good at that. The other thing I'm fucking great at is mini golf. Bring it. Seriously, you think I'm kidding? Bring it. I will smoke you. I will smoke you. I will spot you 3 strokes, and I will smoke you by 2. I can't explain it. I don't know how I'm good at mini golf. I'm not good at anything but mini golf. The other thing I'm really good at is judging people, sizing people up. So we're going to watch a video of Tyler Robinson. We're going to see him. It's a home video. It's him talking to his family. We're going to watch the way he moves because I got some real theories on that. All right, I'll share it with you right now. I think he is 1, absolutely on the spectrum. I think 2, there's a chance that he's got a whole myriad of other problems, but his family were very Mormon and very conservative, and maybe he just didn't get any help because, well, just pray the weird away or whatever it was. Well, we'll see a video of him, and you tell me if you think that you see the things that I see. I see a very awkward young man who is, and there's another thing. He's obviously not trans, okay? He's just a dude. He's just a guy. I know y'all really wanted him to be trans, or some of you did for another weird reason, but, maybe it's not a weird reason. I explained it earlier. Trans are the new Arabs. Trans are the new Jews. Trans are, right? Isn't that what it is? We got to hate somebody, so we're hating trans, whatever. There's like 5 of them in the whole fucking world. This, again, I gotta be honest. Yes, I've seen more trans people in the last couple of years, but there's also been way more talk about it, which would mean that more people who are just fucking nuts and weird and looking for something and a way to fit in and be different and create shock. A whole bunch of people are putting on dresses now and walking around going, I'm trans. I don't believe that a lot of those people are actually trans. Kind of like the case of the Minnesota shooter from a couple of weeks ago. He was one of these weird guys who was just a fucking social misfit who was probably, again, somewhere on the spectrum, definitely had some severe mental issues. And he was pretending to be trans for a couple of years because he wanted to fit in, because he was a misfit and he was trying to find a group. Like I said, when I was in high school, those were punk rockers. Those were people who shaved out. Bill Manning was a normal guy. And then one day he shows up to school with a pin in his nose, a gigantic mohawk. And by the way, he was the only one. We were a very preppy Ferris Bueller school. And this dude is like, all of a sudden. So that's the way he stood. If he was 15 now, he'd probably be wearing a dress. He'd be like, I'm trying to fit in. I'm trying to find my group of people. So there's a lot of that. The people who are actually trans, man, I don't think we're seeing them that much. I think they're living their life and they are just trying to get by, and they are dealing with some very authentic and serious things going on with them internally. They're not doing the other stuff, right? Just weird. Okay, so why you guys want him to be trans? People really wanted him to be trans. And I am certain that there are any number of posts out there from fake little news organizations that will tell you that he is trans. Why? Because they produce the news they know you want. So that you can have some, when you're arguing with somebody in your family on Facebook, they are providing you with stories that look like legitimate news stories that you can link to them. But really, it's all just agenda driven. All right, so he wasn't trans. He's just a white, awkward dude, maybe gay. I don't know. I don't have an ability to just look at a dude and go, he's gay. That is my gaydar. I'm trying to think of what, because I made a statement a while ago about my gaydar. My gaydar used to be great back when we were allowed to openly use gaydar. Like in the 80s and in the 90s, we were allowed to go, hey, I think that guy's gay. We're not allowed to do that anymore. So I think I put my gaydar up on dry dock for about 10 years. I recently brought it back. And I don't think it works anymore. I really don't. I can't tell. You know who I can tell who's gay? Hello! Like I can tell those people, but it doesn't take any kind of a intuitive genius to do that. So I don't know. Maybe this Tyler Robinson dude, maybe he's gay. Who cares? Whatever. It doesn't seem to be a motivating factor in what he did. Or maybe it is. Actually, I don't know. I'm sitting here blabbing out. I don't know what was motivating him. Let's see. Robinson's grandmother told the Daily Mail that he grew up in a very conservative Republican household. Again, that doesn't mean anything. If you're a Democrat and you're over here going, he's a Republican because no kid has ever broken bad on the fucking ideological views of their parents. As a matter of fact, I got to be honest with you. I think it's weird when a kid agrees politically with their parent, if that kid is under 30. Like if you're like 18, you're a dude and you're 18 and your dad's like 55 and you're like, me and dad, we're on the same. That's fucking weird. You're not supposed to be as angry and bitter and judgmental as a man who has lived 55 years at 19. What do they say? If you're a liberal, if you're not liberal at 6 or 18, if you're not liberal at 18, then you're heartless. And if you're still liberal at 31, then you're brainless, right? Isn't that the saying? The Daily, no, we don't need this. Let's see, what else do we have? Anything else? Let's see, what else do we have on this guy? Yeah, what are the other things I wanted to mention? Oh, the bullet casings. Okay, let's get into this. All right, so Governor Cox there of Idaho, he went into, the bullets, they had shit. That's what the kids are doing now. Has this always been the thing? I mean, I guess I remember, World War II, I guess they used to write things on the bombs, like, suck on this, Charlie, or what, I don't know what they said back then, but, yeah, see, I guess you couldn't write that, but you know what I mean? So it probably started back then. But now we've got all these killers who are writing little messages, little things on the bullets. This dude's writing weird shit. I don't know what. We're gonna go through the things that were written on the bullets, casings. Excuse me. I know there's a lot of you gun nerds out there who are gonna find a lot of things that I say here incorrect. You used the wrong word. Okay, whatever. I'm not a gun nut. I'm not a gun fetishist. I believe in the Second Amendment. I think it's there for a reason, and I'm trying to take anybody's guns away. But I'm not I don't jerk. Oh, that new gun. Oh. I also don't do that with cars. I have friends who do that with cars too. You know what I do that with? Chicks. Hot chicks. That's pretty much it. That's the long and the short of it for me. And in my case, it's probably pretty short. All right. Let's see. Let's keep going. Let's talk about what was written on the gun. Bullet casings discovered by investigators had several inscriptions engraved on them. Governor Cox, let's see, bullet casings discovered engraved on them. Governor Cox said the casings that had been fired read, or the casing that had been fired read. Here's what it said on the bullet. The casing, it's not the bullet, okay? So here's what it said on the casing of the bullet that killed Charlie Kirk. Notices bulges OWO. What's this? Question mark. So if you're like me, you heard that and went, huh. I'm not entirely sure what that means. Well, thankfully, Governor Spencer Cox is going to explain it to us. The other one that we have is unfired casings contain scrawlings such as, "Hey, fascist, catch," with an up arrow symbol, a right arrow symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. Yeah, if you don't know what that is confusing, but that was the anti-fascist not slogans, symbols that they used under Mussolini in Italy to let people know. It was a secret like code. Anyway, that's what that means. So that's a code for fascism. All right. So can we stop on this one? Because maybe I just need to ask a blunt question. Are some of you guys okay with fascism? Like, are some of you guys okay with if America just like went, hey, you know what? We decided we're going to become a fascist country. Are some of you okay with that? See, now I know that a lot of us are triggered by the word. The word fascist has now become sort of associated with Antifa, right? They've branded themselves as the anti-fascists, which, by the way, is also what the United States military branded themselves in World War II. We were anti-fascists. Now, this group running around calling themselves anti-fascist, Antifa, they may think they're that, but they're not. We know what they are. They're bored, entitled young thugs who are just looking to create mayhem and chaos. But to be anti-fascist as an American is not a bad thing. I am an anti-fascist. Loud and proud, motherfucker. Loud and proud. I believe in this guy. Thomas Jefferson is one of my cool dudes, my cool dude draft, and my coolest dudes who ever walked the earth. I got Jesus and Thomas Jefferson neck and neck, okay? So yeah, I'm fucking anti-fascist. And if you say you're not anti-fascist, you just don't like the way the country's going because of all of these people, guess what? You're a fascist. You're a fascist. If you just want to change things and at the expense of a whole bunch of people doing shit that you don't agree with, if you just want sweeping changes and to shut them up, no matter what you think of yourself, patriot, you're a fucking fascist, or you at least support fascist ideas. We are a representative democracy, okay? That's what we are. If everybody sucks, then that's what we get. Then what we need to do is double down for a generation and raise our children differently and try to raise a new generation of Americans who aren't going to suck as much as the ones that we might have now. But we don't just go, let's hit the easy button and just go become a fascist state. Death of America. The more I spend my days on this planet, I see more and more. Well, here's the thing. When I was a kid, I was like, I don't know, like a teenager or whatever. You're learning about World War II and you're learning about Germany and you're learning about Hitler. My God, man, my first thought for years was, how the fuck did the German people let this happen? How the fuck were so many German citizens like, whatever, gas chambers? That seemed like such an incredible ask. It seemed like such an incredible ask that we here in America, at least in 1984, when I'm thinking this way, we here in America are like, that could never happen here. So I thought as a kid, the fuck was wrong with the Germans? I spent most of my life looking down my nose at Germany and Germans in general because I'm like, what the fuck did you people let happen? But I can see it now. I mean, I can see how that can happen. All we got to do is start hating each other. all we got to do is find one group who we're all pretty sure we could kick their ass and make them the devil. That's the slippery slope. And then God forbid that little group, that minority group or whatever, God forbid they get a couple of representatives in the government. And now all of a sudden, now we're fighting this on the political level. Big money's involved. We've got social media as avenues now to stir up the fucking rubes. Get them doing crazy shit like killing Charlie Kirk. Cross the Rubicon. All right, so the "Hey Fascist" catch written on a casing. Okay. All right, if I was at war with fascists and I was shooting now, not saying Charlie Kirk was a fascist. Charlie Kirk had some, you know what? It's not time yet. Maybe Monday, maybe next week, it's time to talk like that. But again, being someone who is trying to be civil and not a shit stir, it doesn't need one. Let's put it this way. Tyler Robinson thought Charlie Kirk was a fascist. Okay? So Tyler Robinson probably thought he was doing the world a favor. But he's stupid, you see, so he didn't really think it through. He did nobody a favor. He didn't do weirdos on the left a favor with this. He certainly didn't do weirdos on the right a favor for this. And the 70% of us who are sitting here for the last 3 days, clutching our pearls, freaking out about what this country is going to become in the next 5 years, we were also not served. One of the other things that it said here on the casings, this one was weird too, okay? This one read, "Oh, bella, ciao, 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 ciao." The fuck does that mean? Again, man, make it clear. You know, make it clear, please. Next time, just write clearly so we know, like, Obama wasn't born here. Yeah, you know, something like that. 37 convictions. Yeah, write shit that we're going to be able to go, okay, I see where he's coming from here. This is just, I don't know. I need the help of Governor Spencer Cox of Utah, who did explain what all these things mean. Are you ready? Here you go. Let's see. Where is the explanations? I got my notes on this all over the place, so please bear with me today, okay? Let's see here. I'm trying to find the explanation for that shit. Bullet casings. Here we go. All right. Thank you. All right. So here's how Governor Cox of Utah explained what those random things meant. He says, no bulges. OWO, comma, what's this? Question mark. Was written on one of the casings. Notices bulges. OWO, what's this? All right, here's the explanation. It says that this is a meme phrase from internet culture, especially associated with anime communities. Fucking dark. OWO is an emoticon used to represent wide-eyed curiosity or surprise. The phrase, notices bulge, is a sexualized meme, a parody of role play scripts online. So I guess like notices bulges is a way of going, what are you, gay? You know, like that. Because in the anime world, apparently, you know, what do you see a cartoon and go, his bulge ain't big enough? I don't know where it came from. Not trying to get in that world or figure it out, but okay. So notices bulges. So he wrote on one of them, notices bulges. I think I know what this is in reference to because it's something that I rant about a lot. A lot of these like far-right weirdos who, again, for some fucking weird reason, are all caught up in Taylor Swift. So it's so gay. It's like you're a 50-something-year-old man. You should be able to name one Taylor Swift song tops, maybe two if you have a daughter. But the fact that you are reposting Taylor Swift, you're a fucking dork. And also probably, it's just weird. It's just weird. But that comes from like Taylor Swift. Like a whole bunch of people would like post pictures of Taylor Swift and be like, do you see the bulge? And I was always like, you see this gorgeous woman and you're trying to imagine a penis? The fuck are you doing? That ain't right. Notice his bulge. I don't know what that means. I don't know. Maybe this is again in reference to Charlie Kirk's anti-trans stuff. This might be anti-trans. This might be a reference to Charlie Kirk, saying, oh, it's a man in a dress. You can see the bulge. Or not that he said that, but that mentality. Okay. The second one, hey, fascists, catch, up arrow, right arrow symbol, and then 3 down arrows. Again, that's a symbol from Mussolini days in Italy. It's an anti-fascist. And again, being anti-fascist does not make you Antifa. I know they sound the same. Antifa is a brand name that a bunch of thugs have adopted. But the fact of the matter is that every one of us should be an anti-fascist. Not a member of Antifa, not blowing up Tesla dealerships, but we should all be a fucking anti-fascist, okay? Because that's a pendulum. That could swing any wide way. You might think you're getting the fascist you want. What happens when it swings the other way? Then we all die in fucking camps. I'm already pretty sure that I'm going to die in a camp for shit that I've tweeted out in the past or things that I've said on here. All right, so the anti-fascist thing, the 3 arrows up symbol is anti-fascist emblem that originated in Germany and in Italy, was used during blah, 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 whatever. There you go. Okay. So we get what that is. Hey, fascist, catch. He thought he was a fascist. He considered Charlie Kirk a fascist, and that's what that note's about. All right, here's the interesting one. Oh, bella ciao. Right? That's Italian, obviously. Says here, this is a reference to Bella Ciao, an old Italian, this is another Mussolini thing, an old Italian anti-fascist resistance song from World War II. All right, so it was a song, it was an Italian resistance song taken up by the resistance called Ciao Bella, Bella Ciao. Bella Ciao became famous as the anthem of Italian partisans fighting Mussolini and the Nazi forces. Fucking cool. That's cool. I mean, look, I'm all for the people, the Italians who rose up. It's why I'm such a great defender of France. Me in France, every time somebody's like, they're pussies, I'm like, tell me you're stupid about history without telling me you're stupid about history. The fucking French, the Frankish kingdoms, the fucking empire of Charlemagne, the French ain't pussies. And the French resistance in World War II, who were, by the way, anti-fascists, were badasses. So stop it. Stop it. They got run over by a German war machine they never saw coming. It happened fast. They blitzkrieged right through fucking Paris. And before you knew it, Charles de Gaulle is in a suite in a London Four Seasons conducting the war on behalf of his people, who were at that point known as the Vichy French. But story for another day. All right, so he's anti-fascist. He doesn't like fascist mentality. I don't like fascist mentality either, but I would never pick up a gun and think that that is the way to somehow support. I wonder what his deal, what? We got to know more. We got to find out more. We are not getting any satisfying information as of yet about who this guy was. It's all over the road. He was raised by a bunch of very Christian Mormons, which, by the way, this is funny. We're starting to see that now. I saw this on Twitter. I saw a thread. There was like 1,000 retweets. Mormons aren't Christians. Is that the defense? Is that because they were Christians during the election last year when you needed the state of Utah and you wanted all them Mormons? They were Christians then, but apparently they ain't. Mormonism, that's not Christianity. I think it's fun how you guys just kind of make your rules up as you go along. They're not Christians. He's not a white Christian. He's a white Mormon. I'm okay. Okay. This is what we're doing. Here. Let's see. Excuse me. Yeah, okay. So what do we know about the father? Or about the family? His father is a minister. Currently, he's also either a retired sheriff or police captain. They are white. Not that that matters, but they're Mormon. Are there black Mormons? Is that a race? Jamie, is that a racist question? Jamie? I don't know. I can't think. There were no black Osmonds. So that's pretty much the extent of my Mormon knowledge. I don't know. They're probably black. There's probably black Mormons. Do they let black dudes be Mormons? That's another one. They must. They must, because I feel like I'd have heard about that in the last couple of years. If Mormons didn't let black dudes be Mormons, I think they do. I think they must, right? America, come on, they got to. All right. They're Mormon, white. See, now these are raised around guns. Of course, he was raised around guns. He's a white Mormon in Utah. Those people go out there. There's a lot of Americans who are raised around guns. That doesn't mean anything, but certainly the left is going to use that as an indication that he was a white conservative. He didn't. I don't know. Why does it matter? Can we go back to what I always say about this shit? He's a crazy person who woke up and went, I should just put a bullet in the guy's head. That is a crazy person thought. What do you care about anything else? His fucking family is like, oh, they're monsters. No, they're not, man. They just got a kid. They seem like a nice family. They really do. And this should scare the shit out of every nice family in America, that you might have one of these fucking mutant monsters sitting at your breakfast table. How do you know? Anyway, here, let me show you this. Let's watch a little video of this guy, okay? So this is Tyler Robinson. He received a scholarship out of high school to go to college. Scholarship for what? A dancing school. No, to go to college. And a very proud moment for the family. And by the way, his mom, just everything I've seen about his mom, I feel really bad for this family. You know, certainly not him. Fuck him. He's crazy. But I feel, his mom works with retarded people. Like, that's her gig. Like, every fucking day for like the last 30 years, she has like gone and like wiped retarded people's butts and stuff. It's just. Anyway, Tyler got himself a scholarship and mom was proud. So mom decided to make a little video. So here, this is him just being him. Let's see if we see anything. I see someone who appears awkward. Well, you know what? I'm not going to tell you what to think. We'll put this up. Here you go. This is Tyler Robinson, killer of Charlie Kirk, from a family home video, him reading a letter that says he's been granted a scholarship. Let's watch him. Here we go.
Okay.
Congratulations. You have been selected to receive the Resident Presidential Scholarship from Utah State University. The value of this scholarship is approximately $32,000. This scholarship is available for 4 years or 8 semesters.
One more time.
Okay.
Congratulations. You have been selected to receive the Resident Presidential Scholarship from Utah State University. The value of this scholarship is approximately $32,000. This scholarship is available for 4 years or 8 semesters.
The whole thing up to this point, I paused it for a reason. The whole thing here is he seems very awkward for somebody who is talking to his mom. I mean, I don't know. I'd put on a show. Maybe I'm a different kind of person, but if I was doing this, I'd be proud. He seems to be awkward. Again, I'm using my skills as somebody who can size people up. He seems uneasy. He's tight. He's not loose. He's tight. But this is weird. This is a strange reaction. And I know that we've all probably found ourselves in moments where our reaction was a little bit less than Fonzie. But this awkward and weird. All right, look at his. That's almost the way a 5-year-old would react to the ooh. Look, I know I'm being very. It's about the nuance. It's about the subtlety of the person and how they carry themselves. What I'm telling you here is that this is an odd duck. This is not the cool. He doesn't sit at the cool kids' lunch table. This is another, sort of marginal. Nothing femme about him, though. Can we point that out? He doesn't look like a trans person, okay? He's not. Look at his dress, okay? He is dressed very all-American, normal, lack of style, off-the-rack Old Navy. So It's a $12 t-shirt and probably a $22 pair of jeans. He's not peacocking, he doesn't have his hair in some special way. His beard is a little bit unkempt. My point is that he doesn't seem to be somebody who is overly interested in fooling anyone that he isn't a boy. Okay, so let's fucking get rid of the trans thing. Sorry, crazy 15% on the right. It doesn't seem like this one is going to fill the bill that you need. He's just garden variety fucking crazy. Although why don't we see any social media posts? Wouldn't you, if people in his family describe him as recently becoming more political, I have not seen examples of that. I would love to see examples of that. I think it'll make it clearer. But the idea that we all look for, the thing that we all want to know is what side is he on? We live in a country where there's two sides. There's people who voted for Kamala, and then there's people who voted for Trump, and then, there's me who didn't vote for anybody, and I'm just like, fuck both of you. But we like that. That's how we feel satisfied. It's how we're able to move on. If we can blame somebody, some political ideology, and I just don't think we have that yet. And I think I am not, you see the left celebrating like they think they got one. White Mormon, Look, the only thing that those weirdos, the left weirdos, should be celebrating is that it wasn't a trans guy. Okay? Yeah, you're endlessly defending the trans community that either may or may not exist. I'm not sure. You're endlessly defending them. Just stow it on this one, okay? Because he's not trans. They didn't get this one. Take that as your little victory left. The right. What can the right pull as a victory here? Again, you can't have the trans one because he's obviously not trans. Don't even know that he's gay or anything. It doesn't seem gay. He seems like he's awkward. He seems like he's on the spectrum. Probably. Girlfriends, right? That'll be interesting. That'll tell us a lot. Here's some things to look for. Has he ever had a girlfriend? Is there a girlfriend in his past? If there is, someone will find her. Here's why that's important. If he's 22 years old and has never had a girlfriend, then yeah, he's on the spectrum. Because look at him. This dude can get laid. This guy can get laid. If this guy's cool, this guy has girlfriends. This guy's not fat. He's got a bit of a chiseled jaw there that comes to a point. He seems to have good hair. This guy should have girlfriends. This guy can get chicks, okay? But if we find out he's 22 and he's never had a girlfriend, again, now we got to go, okay, so he's always been a little fucking weird. Let's watch him one more time. Let's just watch his awkward, strange.
Okay.
Congratulations. You have been selected to receive the Resident Presidential Scholarship from Utah State University. The value of this scholarship is approximately $32,000. This scholarship is available for 4 years or 8 semesters.
I don't know. All right, it's a little weird to me. Struck me as just a little bit weird. All right, I want to spend a little time in the chat room now because I've been going and just spouting all kinds of nonsense. I want to know what you people are thinking about this stuff. Any thoughts at all? Is the chat room not working? Oh my God, it looks like I'm having trouble with the chat room now. Let's see here. See, where should I jump in at? All right, we'll start with Al. And I'll run through these. Al says, how can we call ourselves Americans when we cannot respect each other's ideologies? I agree with you, Al. Respect, respect. I think a lot of people, respect is one of those words like ego, where I think most people just think it means one thing. Like, when I talk about ego work and stuff, they're like, you're not that conceited. I'm like, that's not what ego is, you fucking reductive fool. But okay, I understand that is one of the aspects of ego, but it's not what it is. It's kind of the same thing with respect, right? Like, I don't know that we need to respect one another's ideologies. Because that's kind of hard. That would be, I don't know how you could. Your ideology is kind of your foundational sense of being, or it should be. I do understand that a lot of people, they just adopt ideologies because they want to be a part of a team. But in the true sense of what an ideology is, it should be foundational to who you are as a person. That should be what your ideology is. And also, your ideology shouldn't just fit or align perfectly with whatever political party wants your vote. Your ideology, if you're a normal person, should be kind of a little bit of everything. So I appreciate the sentiment, Allie. You're right. I just don't know what is the word there. How can we call ourselves Americans when we cannot blank each other's ideologies? Tolerate. That's it. Isn't that it? Tolerate. Although, is tolerate a bad word? Like, is tolerate a trigger word for who would be triggered by tolerate? The right, right? Because isn't that, no, because isn't the opposite of, well, no, whatever. Tolerate. Let's do that. Thank you, Al. Byron. Byron says, we can, Al, but sometimes the ideologies are that men can get pregnant. Let me fix that. This is what I believe Byron is trying to say. He's responding to Al and he's saying that, yeah, we can. We get along, we can whatever, coexist, if you will. But sometimes their ideologies are that men can get pregnant, right? See, here's what I would say to Byron. Dude, that is such a fucking, do you know how specific that is to people with that ideology? And yet I would think, I know that Brendan is one of those guys, all Democrats, all liberal. I mean, dude, that's like saying that all Republicans, which I don't believe because a bunch of you dudes are my friends. That's like believing that all Republicans are the guys who marched in Charlottesville going, the Jews will not replace us. Now, there are lefties out there who want to tell you that all Republicans are that. I'm here to tell you they're not. Just as I'm here to tell you that all people who are liberal, progressive, or vote Democrat don't think that men can get pregnant. That's we can agree that is a fucked up, weird example. Byron, buddy. Again, what I'm trying to point out here is that it's such a small example, small slice of people out there for you to be upset with, and that it has reached this level where every fucking single day, Byron, I bet you in some way, shape, or form, you have commented about trans people. And you didn't always do that. You went 20 years ago. You weren't, going, I'll tell you, I saw a trans person. I can't stand these trans people. You weren't doing that. You do it now because you've been radicalized on this subject by the information that you choose to ingest. I would say that you are not wrong to be fucking angry and freaked out by people who are saying, no, there's a third gender. You're not wrong to feel the way you feel. I agree with you. There's not a third gender. But to make it such an important part of our everyday life is a sign of radicalization. And that ain't good. Because once you're radicalized, then you can believe anything they want to fucking tell you. And I know you're smart. Byron's a very smart guy. So when you say, well, when their ideology is that men can get pregnant. Nobody fucking thinks that, okay? Nobody significant thinks that. You are right, though. There are people that have been elected under, the Democratic flag, if you will, from all that have fucking, there's really scary Democrats out there who are really fucking nuts with the things they believe. Same goes for Republicans. There are some great, look, we have crossed the Rubicon of being selective about who we choose to represent us in Washington. Both parties are filled with goddamn degenerates now. At least in the past, they were still degenerates, but they were all lawyers and they all knew how to speak in a way that didn't sound like they were fucking shit talking in a pub at closing time, which is what we've got now. We have degenerated as a civilization. Our civility towards one another has degenerated to a point where, now we've got Ilhan Omar and Lauren Boebert walking around as Congress people. We did that. We all did that collectively. So, all right. Adam, let's get Adam in here. Adam says, I agree, Al. Again, Al. Look at Al starting the whole conversation. Al, to refresh you, he asked, how can we call ourselves Americans when we cannot respect each other's ideologies? Adam says, I agree, Al. However, the main issue is many on the right think that because someone is different, they're less than human. That is unacceptable. 100%. Adam, you're 100% right. I don't know about your use of the word, many, right? Did he say many? Or am I putting words? I agree, Al. However, the main issue is many on the right. All right, so now let me turn to Adam. That's the main issue for you. Is that your main issue, or are you saying that the main issue of Republican politics is to persecute minorities, which is just, I guess, a different way of saying what you said? I don't know if that's their main issue. Many on the right. I don't have a problem with that, because there does seem to be, like, every time I see someone on the right, they are kind of, hitting those hot button issues of, immigration and all that stuff. So Adam says, I agree, Al. However, the main issue is many on the right think that because someone is different, they're less than human. Yeah. This goes back to, once again, people enjoying being angry. If we didn't enjoy being angry, if we didn't get a dopamine rush every time, we got triggered, which we do, and we are all addicted to that now. That's why you can't stop checking your Facebook page to see how many likes you got. That's a dopamine rush. You don't even recognize it's happening, but that's why you're compelled to do it. And it's why you get sad when nobody liked something. Adam says, the main issue is many on the right think that because someone is different, they're less than human, and that is unacceptable. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to answer that, because I was listening to my buddy James Parker's radio show on WBAP the other day when I was driving out to Bottle Rockets for Bottle Rockets trivia. James Parker, afternoons, 2 to 5. James and I host trivia together at Bottle Rockets. So I was listening to, is the day Charlie got Charlie Kirk got shot. And I'm listening to the James Parker show. And I tune in, and an old woman, not an old woman, but I don't know, she's been through some shit. All we got is the voice to go on, but I'm like, this old lady, there's a lot of shit she don't like. I can tell from her tone. First thing she said, this is not the first thing she said. He's like, hey, you're on the James Parker show. Hi, Gladys and Forney. Radio here in Dallas, middle of the afternoon. Sad day. People are shocked. I understand it. They're saying things. This woman gets on the air and she says she fully believed it was a trans shooter. She was running with that hours after it. Well, James, these people, and James is like, what people? And she's like, these trans people, I don't know what we're supposed to do with them. I mean, I'm at the point now where I think that we just line them all up against a wall and shoot them. Hey, thank you for the call. WBAP 93.3. Adam, you got a point there. What do you fucking do with that person? What do you do with a person who calls themselves a patriot? Because that fucking woman calls herself a patriot. What do you do with somebody who calls themselves a patriot but has such a perverted idea of what America is? So I don't know. I mean, I hate to be one of these guys who's like, it's both sides. It is fucking both sides. That's the other thing I do want to mention here. The narrative is strong. I'm an observer. I'm just watching the narrative. Holy fuck you people on the left. You lefties are getting hammered because the narrative that you guys are the really violent ones, that is sticking. And everybody is saying it. It's amazing. I'm sitting here watching this go because I don't really have an opinion on this either way, other than just, off the top of my head, I can name some pretty freaky things that happen between both parties, right? One side's responsible for these ones, the other side's responsible for this. But the unchecked way that right-wing media is being able to run wild with the idea that political violence is only coming from the left. And then they talk about, well, President Trump, there were two assassinations of President Trump, that was the left. And then they go with, they go back to the dude, who's the dude that got shot at the softball game? You got to go back 15 years for that. They go, oh, there's that guy. And there are some other, the trans shooters, they use whatever they can. Political violence, but they include the Minneapolis trans shooter. Is that political violence? Is that what we're talking about? I thought we were just talking about political violence. I don't know, off the top of my head, Gabby Giffords, right? Wasn't that the start of it all? But you lefties, you better get on the fucking stick, because the narrative, which could, be historically significant if it sticks, and it's sticking, the narrative that they are crushing you with is that the left, the chicks with dicks, the dudes in dresses, that you guys are the violent ones. And I love it. People are going through these lists, and you're hearing these lists, and I wish I could get a good list, an example of the list that they put out there to prove their point that the left is the only people being violent. They completely, not a fucking single person mentioned the Minnesota slayings a month ago. Crazy MAGA dude goes and murders in the middle of the night 2 fucking Minnesota state reps. No. You're not going to hear Michael Savage mention that in one of his rants. You're not going to hear Jesse Watersman. No. What else don't they mention? Paul Pelosi. That doesn't count because it was the husband. That's what I heard a motherfucker on WBAP say today. And I'm like, how convenient for you. There's political violence all over. Stop acting like, it's just the fucking trans people. If the left wanted to put together a list, there's any number of mass shooters who are doing it for reasons that are obviously tied to the right. There's also some fucking crazy lefties who perpetrated mass shootings or whatever, or doing it for whatever fucked up ideology they were subscribing to that week. And that's the fun of it. That's the circus. That's how we stay at each other. That's what they want us. That's what the plan is, to keep us at each other's throats. Fact of the matter is that political violence is happening in this country, and it's coming from both sides. To demonize one side over the other is not only ignorant of the facts, but it's absurd and an obvious manipulation of the stupids. So don't be the stupids who are walking around going, nah, it's just the chicks with dicks. It's fucking everybody. It's crazy people, if we can bring it back home. And what have I been saying consistently about crazy people? Why do you fucking care who the crazy person voted for? They're crazy. Doesn't that negate everything that comes next? But no, you're looking for your cheap fucking wins. Why? Because you want your dopamine bursts. Be better, as our smoke show first lady might say in broken English. All right, let's keep going. Barney's back in the chat where he says there's a lot for an '06 casing. And then Barney with some Barney, what are you, 16? What does TLDR mean? I don't know what that means. Let's see. Byron says, I have a concern that, I'm probably going to die in a camp for saying something that somebody deems, not proper for society. Byron says, you won't die in a camp, Pugs. The crocodiles will get you first. Ugh, that'd be the worst. That'd be the worst. On the subject of Mormons, who I'm seeing people today, a number of people say that they're not Christian because, the lefties, the libs are all like, say white Christian, right? They're trying to win their fucking stupid victories with that nonsense. They're saying that. And then, in response, a lot of crazy right people, not all the right people, but crazy right people are like, Mormons ain't Christians. On that subject, Barney says they're not Catholics or Protestants, but they are Christians. Of course they are. Yeah, they're Christian. Look, they're Christians. They might not be good Christian. They might be good. How am I using good? I don't mean like pious. I mean the ones we know about. They're like hey, Scientologists. They're not Christian, right? No, they're Scientologists. That's a whole other thing altogether. Wonder why the Mormons didn't. Well, because the Mormons have Jesus, right? Now they believe that Jesus was born in like Galesburg, Illinois. They do. And look, I'm glad we let the Mormons just kind of have Utah. It's a beautiful place, but they're beautiful people, if we're being honest. The Mormons are really beautiful people. The eugenic vibe of just staying within your own, turns out after a couple of generations, you just produce 6-foot blondes. And it's not bad. You ever seen an ugly Mormon woman? No, you haven't. You don't even have to answer that question. You haven't. The ugliest Mormon woman you've ever saw is probably Marie Osmond. That's setting the bar high. All right, so So Mormons believe Jesus was in Illinois. And the Mormonism started in Illinois, and John Smith was run out of the town because they're like, you fucking people are weird. And then they murder him in a jail in Galesburg, Illinois or something. And then in order to escape that, they crossed the Mississippi River into Iowa. So then they made their trek out west on the wagon train. And that's how Utah became, I don't know, something like that. All I know is that the whole Mormon thing started in Illinois around the time of the Civil War, and we now consider that a real religion. He just made that shit up. Their religion says that Jesus was here in the New World. You ever seen Mormon art? Jesus is teaching Indians. So crazy. So they are technically Christians, but they're not evangelical. They're not like that. They got their own rules. They got their own weird sex rules. They've got beautiful people. Don't know enough about their cuisine. Do they have good food? Is there good Mormon food? What is that? What is Mormon food? I don't know. Al also chimes in. He says, right now it's all about kids, tribalism, and hate combined with social media. Combine all those together and you get chaotic, dumb decision-making. Where else are we? Al says, yeah, there's black Mormons. I used to be a Mormon. You used to be a Mormon? They let you out? Is it one of them religions where you're allowed to get out? Seems because it's honest, Scientology, they don't let you out. Well, they do, but it's not easy. It seems like Mormonism might be one of those, because they're not as big as all the other ones. If you're a Protestant and you want to stop being a Protestant, they don't give a fuck. But if you're a Mormon, can you just quit? I guess you just go away, right? But I guess my question is Scientology, they'll chase you down. They got detectives and never mind. It's not the same thing. Why do I think Scientology and Mormonism is the same thing? I do. I always have. In my head, I'm like, wait, am I talking about Scientology or am I talking about Mormonism? That's really not good for Mormonism. If I am confusing Mormonism with Scientology because both have fucking silly ideas, not like those totally palpable and believable Christian Jesus ideas, right? The walking on water and curing people and dead, but then not dead. Those aren't crazy. Those are ones we've come to believe are true. We're willing to accept that. Adam says, listen to the Book of Mormon soundtrack. I think it was 1978 when they accepted black people. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the Book of Mormon. I understand it's really cool. I understand it's really funny and entertaining. It's the South Park guys, right? In that Book of Mormon, wasn't that written by Trey Parker or Matt Stone or somebody like that? Anyway, I knew before I started saying, do they allow black people? I knew that it was a recent thing. Like I remember that, but Adam says 1978 is when the Mormon church finally went, we can they're like just a couple of years before Augusta National letting black dudes golf at the Masters. The Mormons checked in with, you know what? Maybe an entire religion shouldn't just in 1978 be about white people. And you know that there were some Mormons that the minute black people started showing up, they're like, there goes the temple. That's what they call it, right? A temple. Mormon temple. All right, Al's chiming in about Tyler Robinson. He says he might be slightly on the spectrum. I don't know if slightly is the word. He seems pretty awkward. He seems significantly on the spectrum, not debilitating, but debilitating in the way that it's going to affect his social life. That really is something that I think is important. We got to find out if he's got chicks. If a 22-year-old can get girlfriends when, that tells me that there is some semblance of normality, and maybe she can help us. But if he's 22 years old, looks like that, and he's pretty handsome, I'm not saying he's hot. I'm saying he's fuckable, okay? If you're a chick, there are some dudes that are just not fuckable at 22. Fat, zits, whatever, right? No, that dude could go into a bar, get some drunk girl closing time to go home with him, and if he's ever done that, I'd like to know. If he's never done it, if he's a 22-year-old virgin because he just can't talk to girls, that will tell us a little bit more about what's going on with him. And that's what I'm more interested in. Byron points out might be a Mormon tabernacle. The fuck is a tabernacle? I mean, I know I've heard of the Mormon tabernacle choir. I thought tabernacle just had, is tabernacle a structure? Is a tabernacle a building? Maybe it is. I don't know. Amy is in here. Amy says, good to see you, Amy. Amy says, wouldn't make too much of his reactions to the scholarship. I always say there are two kinds of people when it comes to getting exciting news. Price is Right people and Jeopardy people. Aside from that, he does seem awkward in other ways. Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, I would give some grace and that's a pretty good explanation of, what I was seeing too. I think we're seeing the same thing, Amy. We're seeing somebody who seems very awkward. When his mom just, joyfully goes, woo! His response to that is really the biggest thing. The way he responds to his mother, who he should feel completely comfortable around. Like the reason that you don't go full woo like that is because you think it's silly and you're uncomfortable being silly around the person you're with. My point is, I don't think most people feel silly around their moms. I think most people are used to being silly around their moms. So him being a little bit uptight in that moment and being woo, but with a smile that suggests he knows he's compelled to participate, but doesn't know how. I know I'm breaking him down. I know you're like, Pogs. I'm like, this is what 20 years of therapy does. You're able to look at people and then kind of figure out exactly what might be going on there, or at least guess. So yeah, anyway, we're on the same page. There's something awkward, but there's something a little. Well, obviously there is. All right, he got a gun, climbed a roof, and murdered a very high-profile person. There's obviously something going on there. So we probably shouldn't split hairs too much. Barney says you should be able to accept that a person can disagree with you and not be a bad person. Thank you. Yeah, very, very succinctly said. I think the problem here is that some people take these political issues and process them in such a deeply personal way that when somebody reacts to the same issue differently than they do, those people must be bad. Because I think most of us believe ourselves to be good people, which, by the way, Barney had a really great tweet on that earlier today. And most people do believe themselves to be good people. It turns out they're assholes. Every asshole I've ever met has probably at some point while raging gone, and I'm a good dude. Everybody says I'm a good dude. People think they're good dudes. And I suppose that all depends on perspective, as so many things do. The perspective of the person labeling somebody a good or bad dude. What does being a good dude mean to this person? Like, I think a good dude is somebody, flat out, right? You want to know what it is? I think a good dude is somebody who cares about other people. Stop. End of story. That's it. A good dude, a good person is somebody who recognizes that we are not alone here, that we are all a bunch of fucking ants on the same fucking piece of toast. Weird reference. I saw a piece of toast in the garbage today when I was walking the dog, and it was covered in ants. I think there are a lot of people out there who would tell you they are good people who don't give a fuck about anybody else. And I also think that there are people who believe they are good people who will tell you all about how they give a fuck about somebody else, but they don't. They're performing. Insincere empathy or compassion so that you can appear to be a good human, especially on social media, so that others will like and go, now that's a good person. Performative grace. There's a lot of people like that too. But then there's also a lot of good people. There are people who are really decent people. Let me tell you a story about somebody who's a good person. So I have a friend, female, and on Fridays, and this happened this morning, on Fridays, she gets a cleaning lady. Right? It's Highland Park. What do you want from me? Okay, it's Highland Park. Cleaning lady comes on Friday. At least it's not a live-in maid like some of the neighbors around there. So on Fridays, the cleaning lady comes. And it's the same girl every time. It's a young girl. She's probably like 22, 23 years old, grinding. Cute little thing, right? She's out there grinding. She's cleaning rich people's houses to make money. She probably bartends. She's grinding. And this morning, she shows up to clean my friend's house, and her car won't start. It's not a beater or anything. It's a truck. It's like probably a couple-year-old Bronco or something, but it won't start. And so I jumped it. I was just out there walking the dog, and I'm like, hold on, I'll go inside. I'll do this for you. So because I'm a good person. So I get my car, bring it around, get the jumper cables and all that stuff, and we start to jump the car. We get it jumped, and it starts, and we let it go for about 20 minutes. I go, let's just let it sit for a little bit, and then we're gonna turn the car off. We're gonna see if it starts again. We're trying to figure out, is it battery? Is this an alternator? Fingers crossed that it's not an alternator. Turn the car off. She goes to start it again, and of course doesn't start. It's probably the alternator. So this story is about somebody who is genuinely a good person, right? Good person through actions, not through posts. My friend, this is her cleaning woman. This is her cleaning lady girl. She's taking the day off. It's Friday. She's got the day off. She had the whole day planned. She was probably going to go do, rich, sexy trophy wife stuff, all that. My friend got the cleaning lady's car started, and the cleaning lady lives in Plano. My friend got the cleaning lady's car started, and then my friend proceeded to follow her the entire way home to Plano to make sure that she got home okay. That's a good person who thinks about other people. Now, this woman that I'm describing has a MAGA hat. Yeah, she's very devoutly Christian. Church every Sunday, Bible, involved in her church. So you might see some of those things and go, oh, obviously they're horrible. When meanwhile, I'm telling you, no. People are not their ideologies. People are their actions. People are who they are in their community. When some young girl who's having a really bad fucking Friday, because God damn it, now what is an alternator going to cost? She's cleaning rich people's houses. That girl's having a shit day. And my friend was like, all right, it's 8:30 in the morning, but let's go. Let's get you home. Let's make sure you get home safe. That's what we need more of. That's a good person. But there are so many people on the left who sight unseen would be like, look at that cunt in the MAGA hat. So yeah, Barney's absolutely right. You should be able to accept that a person can disagree with you and not be a bad person. These are complex things. We are complex people. So, and by the way, I know right now, I think Barney, you're probably meaning Adam. Like whenever Barney says shit like that, I think he's aiming it at Adam. I think Adam does judge people. I think Adam judges people sight unseen. Oh, that person, he said this, so he must be that. And that's wrong. That's really wrong. Adam's radicalized on the left, has been for years. But so are you, Barney. So are you, just on the other side. I've seen, you judge people. You're like, oh, look at that blue-haired fucking lesbian. Yeah, we got to stop doing that. And I know you're a good dude. I know, Barney, you're a good dude. Just as I know that Adam is a fucking good dude. I don't waste my time with people who I've determined to be fucking shits, okay? All of you people who've been hanging with me now for 4 years, I'd like to think that we're all, I can't believe we haven't ever all gotten together and hung out. That fucking really kills me. Before this thing ends, I mean, how is it? I know I'm broke and I can't plan parties and all that kind of shit, but how is it that we have never, as a main core chat room, all gotten together and done something? Bottle Rockets, Wednesday night, Legacy Village, right there. That was a cheap opportunity. I didn't mean for that. I was authentically lamenting that we've never really gotten together like that and saw an opportunity to promote Bottle Rockets. Also see an opportunity once again to remind you that this show runs on your tips, so help us out if you can, man. This weekend's a tough one. If you drop a little something for these shows, that'd be great. And I promise I won't bother you next week. You get an entire week of no asking for tips. Won't accept them. How about that? Next week, I'll just send it back. I'll be like, fuck you. You get it back. Save this for Pledge Week. Oh, what's this? Do we have a new? Oh, no, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm watching a live stream of ABC News, and they've just interrupted with breaking news. Right? ABC News, breaking news. They've just interrupted. Here's their breaking news. Authorities identify arrest suspect in Charlie Kirk shooting. Not breaking news. This is not breaking news any longer. A news story breaks for about 30 minutes. And then you got to pull it back and you got to be like, okay, people have heard. Now we're adding details to what we initially broke. That's what it means. Breaking news is a headline. This is all we know at the moment. This is the minute we start knowing new things, then it stops being breaking and it goes into developing. But my God, I'm the only person who cares about this. I'm the only person. All right, what else do we have? Let's see. Chat room. Adam says, even if that's someone's ideology, who does it fucking hurt? You okay. Name calling. You know why Adam is calling Byron a miserable fucking dork? Because they're nowhere near each other. That's why Adam feels comfortable coming in so hot. And now Byron will respond, call him a pedophile or something like that. Oh, that's another thing that I wanted to say. The BAP guys I was listening to today. Oh my God. Now I know why I couldn't fucking work in that format. The WBAP guys were like, well, this is what happens when the lefties, you know what the lefties do? All they do is they call people racist and everybody's a Nazi. Those are toxic words. You start labeling people with like Nazis, that's just something that's coming from the left. That's one of the reasons it's gotten so violent. And I'm sitting in my car going, you fucking people call everybody a pedophile. What is worse than a Nazi? Being called a pedophile. That's a right thing. Everybody's a pedophile in the eyes of the people. So stop with your fucking bullshit. Once again, it's not one side is worse than the other. It's everybody. You're all fucking jerk-offs. Seriously. The left has to stop calling people Nazis. All right, stop calling people pedophiles. All right? How about that? No, you've got to understand that when you call somebody a Nazi, that's like one of the worst things. Oh, and calling people pedophiles? Calling someone in modern America, labeling them on social media a pedophile? Come on, let's go. Let's have this fucking conversation. You disingenuous twat. All right. Adam and Byron are fighting. That's why we don't meet. We've never met because Adam and Byron would probably fight. No, you know what happened? Adam and Byron would meet, and they would be very cordial. But man, you can dial it up hot with your rhetoric when there is no consequence for talking shit to somebody. Kids don't get beat up anymore, right? That's like kids used to. I know. Do we stop bullying? Isn't that one of the big issues too? That we stopped bullying, and now we've just got a bunch of unchecked kids running around talking shit. Maybe it turns out that a bunch of the bullies were right, that maybe these kids needed to get tuned up. I don't know. I have always believed that one of the most important things for a young man to experience is getting punched in the fucking face. I've been punched in the face a bunch of times, but there are a lot of dudes. You would be surprised at the amount of dudes walking around who have never been fucking slugged. They've never been popped. They've never been caught. They've never been out on their feet and then had to come through holding onto a wall. Why do I think that's so important for a young man? Because it reminds you. Because once you've been punched, once you've been sucker punched, especially if it's after talking shit, and you get that and everything's going and your fucking head gets so hot, right? Like your temperature just goes way up and your face. That's some scary shit for about 10 seconds or however long, it takes you to realize that you've just been fucking slugged and gotten your bell rung. So why is that important for every young man? Because it teaches you to hold your tongue, Junior. Because it teaches you that running your mouth to strangers can get your bell rung. That's a lesson that isn't learned online. That is a lesson that just people are like, and it's why Adam is, calling Byron a fat dork or whatever, and then Byron's calling Adam of this or that. I don't want to be like this guy because, I'm a middle-aged. I don't allow people to talk to me certain ways. You can, it was a great example of this. E, who runs the E gallery. He's my best friend. But in the context of this place, he's the boss. And sometimes he's kind of an asshole boss. And I'm comfortable saying that because he is my friend. He's going off on me like about shit. Not because I'm incompetent or not because he's angry at me, but because people have a lot of stress. And you know what? When you pop off at somebody, yeah, all right, just fucking do what I told you, okay? That kind of response. I don't allow people to talk to me that way. It's also probably why I don't have a job and a boss. I've never allowed people to talk to me. I used to walk out of program director meetings. I had a fucking contract. I'm like, seriously, you're going to talk to me like the fuck you? Bye-bye. Talk to me like a grown-up or I swear to God, I'm going to have to punch you in the face. That's where I came from. That's the neighborhood way. That's the 70s and 80s. And we don't have that anymore. So everybody just runs around unchecked saying whatever the fuck they want because 25 years of internet with no consequences has created what we have now. All right, let's see here. Let's move on from this. Guys, I love you. Good talk. Good talk. I want to do that more with the chat room because I want to get you guys a little bit more involved. But let's talk about some other things as we wrap up today's Friday show. One more time, a reminder, if you are so inclined and want to support this kind of free-form talk radio designed for absolutely everybody and make sure that it continues, you can drop a little something in either the Cash App or the Venmo. That would be wonderful. Thank you. Okay, what else do we want to talk about? Motherfucker. All right, we're not going to get into the Charlotte train thing again. We're just running out of time. It's already been a 2-hour show. It's been another 2-hour show where it's just the Charlie Kirk stuff. And it's like, I would love to just be able to go, okay, guys, the Charlotte train murder, here's what I think. And then nutshell it for you. But nope. That's way too complicated and nuanced. Not complicated. Look, the main details are not complicated. That man is a fucking monster. That girl dying is an absolute horrendous example of just America today. The monster needs to be put down. And all right, that's the best I can do to nutshell it. Okay. I do not think that we need to have conversations right now. Van Jones, which I saw this going around a couple of nights ago. Van Jones is on the news and he's like, yes, it was a tragedy. Yes, it's hard to watch. But we all must collectively take responsibility for our failures on this individual. Fuck you, Van Jones. What the fuck? Who are people that... Okay, one, maybe that's a conversation to have down the line. Because you know what? We do fail each other in society. And maybe we do need to drill on that. But when you go on TV and you say that in the days following this situation, again, it's the same shit that I said yesterday. These Democrats and these liberals, and they're really the biggest perpetrators of this, they can never read the mood of the room. It is not now, Van Jones, to go on TV and try and offer some way to elicit some sympathy for this fucking monster. There you go. That's what I have to say about that. What was something else that I wanted to do? I wanted to get into all the conspiracy theories. I still big fan. I'm a big fan of these Charlie Kirk assassination conspiracy theories. I think we're going to investigate them further over the coming days. Hey, I'll tell you this though. Epstein who? That's what I would say. I would say Epstein who on Friday, September 12th, 2025. Who? Wait, who's this Epstein guy again? Oh yeah. Didn't Barack Obama have something to do with that? That's how I remember it. It was Barack Obama was on a list, but then somebody... I mean, there's a conspiracy theory out there that says that Trump had Charlie Kirk killed because Charlie Kirk had recently been breaking bad on him after being brought to heel in a very humiliating video Charlie Kirk made about a month ago, where he said, I know I've been ardently calling for the Epstein files, but now I just want them to do what they think is best for us. That was after breaking bad on Trump. So, the conspiracy theory out there is that Trump had him killed. Why? Because it would certainly change the narrative from the Epstein stuff. And my God, ain't nobody talked nothing about no Epstein in days. Let's see if that continues. He was hard. Trump must have been getting mad because remember the rule is usually like it's 10 days, but they say anyway, it's 10 days after a story breaks. If people are still talking about it, you're in trouble. Well, the Epstein story wasn't going away. It went through like 3, 4, 5 of those 10-day cycles, and it wasn't going away. And now Charlie Kirk is shot. Trump is tweeting today that it's only the Democrats responsible for violence. So he's stirring us up. He's looking for that civil war. This is the conspiracy theory. Mind you, we're talking about the conspiracy theory that I'm watching develop in real time. That's a conspiracy theory that Trump is right now starting a civil war because he knows that they are so close to making it public that he's a pedophile. That's me, a guy in the middle using the pedophile word. I'm not accusing. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that's the theory. And we're going to be following that as it develops. Let's see here. All right. I'll leave you with this. Well, I'm not going to leave you because there's couple other things that we can do. Huge news out of Saturday Night Live. And I'm fucking pissed. I am really pissed. It has been announced that we aren't through with cast leavings. What is that word? What word with cast? Departures. There you go. Today it was announced, and I'm absolutely shocked. Ego Odom is leaving Saturday Night Live. She's like my favorite female on Saturday Night Live. Ego Odom was brought in at a very controversial time with Saturday Night Live. She was brought in after Lorne Michaels and Saturday Night Live was accused of being racist and not having enough, women of color throughout Saturday Night Live's history and all that. So in response to that, Lorne Michaels totally overcorrected and brought in 2 black females. He brought in Ego Odom and Leslie Jones. Leslie Jones was awful. Leslie Jones is not funny. Well, no. Leslie Jones is funny. Leslie Jones is funny being one speed, being that Leslie Jones character. She has no range. Can't do characters. I know they trotted her out and had her try to do Oprah. But then I think they immediately went to Keenan to take over Oprah because Leslie Jones can't do characters. She's just a big, loud, funny person. Probably better suited for emceeing comedy clubs and stuff like that. I don't know that Leslie Jones was built for sketch work. She didn't pop. Name something that she popped in a sketch. Every time Leslie Jones did something that a whole bunch of you people were like, she's so funny. She's not on Saturday Night Live. So many times it was always on the news. She's one of those one-dimensional people who shouldn't have been given the Saturday Night Live stage, but they needed to bring in a bunch of black women, so they brought her in. Leslie Jones sucked. Ego Odom is an all-timer. Ego Odom came in quietly. Ego Odom came in the shadow of Leslie Jones. Leslie Jones was the one that they pushed out front. Leslie Jones was the one that they gave the spotlights. Leslie Jones is the one who got to do the Weekend Update stuff. Leslie Jones popped first. Ego Odom, who's that? Oh, who's that other black girl? Who's that? Oh, who's that? Over the course of her time on Saturday Night Live, Ego Odom has proven to me that she is an all-timer, at least in the female ranks. I like to break it up between female character or female performers on Saturday Night Live and male. I'll just break it down because I think they're just 2 completely different styles of comedic acting, right? Anyway, and they're both great. Ego Odom was terrific. I don't know why she's leaving. Let's see here. What does it say? This is from, she was just so, man, her Dionne Warwick thing was the first thing that I noticed where I went, oh, she's funny because she's got all the slight, Leslie Jones was in your face and everything was amplified and the joke was way over the top. Ego Odom is nuanced and less is more with her characterizations, where it's like her humor almost smolders, where you're watching her become a character or something and you start to giggle because you start to notice all the little shit she does. She's really good. Ego Odom exits SNL after 7 years. She says, I have decided to leave. And you know what? That makes it better for me. That makes it better for me because I don't think there's any way they fire her. She was just too versatile. She could sing. She was attractive. She could really do comedy, and she did impersonations. She was way too versatile for them to just say, you got to go. So it looks like she's leaving. Ego Odom has announced her exit. Here, just in case, a lot of people are like, who the hell is Ego Odom? I don't even know who that is. Here, we'll put up a picture of her. There you go. All right, that's her right there. I don't know what she's wearing. She is not a fat lady. I don't know what the hell that outfit is, but we'll see. All right, let's see. Why did she give a reason why she's leaving? Oh, here, there's a better picture of her. I don't want to do that picture. Yeah, there's better pictures here in this article, just so you know what we're talking about. There she is. It's the one on the left. Let's see. Here's what she wrote. Okay. She wrote, the hardest part of a great party is knowing when to say goodnight. But after 7 unforgettable seasons, I've decided to leave SNL. I'm immensely grateful to Lorne for the opportunity, to my castmates, the writers, and the crew for their brilliance, support, and friendship. Week after week on that stage taught me more than I could have ever imagined, and I will carry those memories and that laughter with me always. Now, invite me to your weddings, please. I don't know what that means, but that's a cute little note from her. She thanked SNL mastermind Lorne Michaels for the opportunity and thanked the cast, crew, and writers for their brilliance. The comedian concluded the message we just read. After a praying hands and kiss emoji, she signed off. Fellow comedian Amber Ruffin replied in comment, "Congratulations. As long as I can still watch you perform, I'm good." I just want to show you one of the funniest things that she ever did. And she did it last season. She's a character. She plays characters. Okay. She doesn't there. I don't really know what the ego wotum is, right? I don't know what she is like in real life because she's almost always embodying a character. She created a character last year, and it was in response to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. I don't remember exactly what Sorry, I'm having a problem with my computer. Everything's taking a real long time. Well, that's good. We're about to sign off anyway. Anyway, it was during the time of some controversy surrounding the White House Correspondents' Dinner and who was supposed to host it. And Ego Wotum, the premise of the joke, Ego Wotum, the real person, wanted to audition to be the host for the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And in auditioning, we would be introduced to a side of her that we had never seen. So this is the bit. It was called Miss Edgy. It was from last year, and it's one of the funniest. I guess Miss Eggy. I'm sorry, that's what it is. Edgy. Why did I say that? It's Ego Wotum. This is her character of Miss Eggy, who she wants to host the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It's a very funny bit. Here we go. I do feel like I need to explain something, a little context here, because I don't know how old most people are watching this, but what she's doing here is she is doing a style of stand-up comedy that had its moment in the mid-90s, around the time of the deaf comedy explosion and all of that. It was a style of black female comedy that was just, I don't know, I guess some people liked it, but that's what she's doing here. She is going to host the White House Correspondents' Dinner as a black female stand-up comic from like 1994. She calls her, say, in the broad, if you remember, somebody yelled shit. She said, "'cause men ain't what?" And like you heard like clearly on live TV, shit. So that's what they're reacting to, and that's why she's saying, "Lord, I'm gonna have to pay for that one." All right. Ego Wotum's leaving Saturday Night Live after 7 years. I always enjoyed her. I thought she was really funny. Really, that character, that character's not funny because the jokes are funny. The jokes are terrible. The jokes are stupid. But that's the persona that she's created where she thinks they're funny, and I don't know, it's just great. That he's overly confident, like everything that she's saying is like gospel, even though she's just a big fool. She's great. I love her. Ego Wotum. Hope she does a lot of cool things. We've got Heidi Gardner out there now. Heidi Gardner has left Saturday Night Live. Ego Wotum has left Saturday Night Live. So we'll see what the new girl. They got two Chloe Finemans, right? We told you they got two girls that can play exactly the same roles. I don't know how that's going to work out, but we'll find out. All right, the last thing that I do want to share with you here tonight is we go away for the weekend, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. I want to remind you, this is the anniversary of this. And I love football. You love football. Everybody loves football. We're Americans. We love football. Okay. But one of my favorite football memories comes from something that occurred how many years ago? Let me see how many years ago this is. It was a Monday Night Football. I was working in Chicago radio. I was working on the Kevin Matthews Show, 1995. That's what it is, 1995. I was working on the Kevin Matthews Show, which was a Chicago radio show. Well, actually, not just Chicago, syndicated all over the Midwest. And so it was a really exciting time for me as a young man, a part of a very big show. I was the stunt boy and, all of that stuff. So we used to do Monday Night Football watching parties. And on this particular Monday night watching party, Kevin came. Kevin usually didn't come. This was something that, the underlings were paid. And in this particular appearance was me, a guy by the name of Doc, who was a producer and sidekick on the show, and Kevin Farley, who was Chris Farley's brother, who was Kevin was a regular on our show. He was currently at that time he was working at Second City and all that. So Kevin Farley was a guy on our show. So it's me, Doc, and Kevin Farley, and it's the Chicago Bears versus the Green Bay Packers on Monday Night Football. And Kevin Farley, grew up in Wisconsin, so he's a bit of a Packer fan and all that. So we were having just an incredible time when this happened. I will never forget the moment this happened. I want you to watch this. This was, imagine if this happened today. If this happened today, what would the reaction be? Just watch this. Monday Night Football, 1995. Chicago Bears taking on the Green Bay Packers in Soldier Field.
No, don't try this.
Here he comes.
Watch this. There he goes. Off into space.
Dude jumps out of the stands into the tunnel in order to catch a field goal. He
catches the ball. Goes all the way down the tunnel.
All right. First of all, let's see that again. It was amazing. When we saw that happen live, we're like, what the fuck did we just witness? That gentleman is a Chicago icon by the name of Mike Pantages. Hey, how you doing? I'm Mike Pantages. Yeah, just jumped out of the stands to catch a football. Oh, don't worry. They're going to interview him in a second. Mike Pantages became a Chicago media creature for a couple of weeks. And then, of course, all the investigative journalism began. And turns out he was a drug dealer. turns out he was a pretty big drug dealer. And that he was probably on all kinds of coke at the time that he did this. But here you go. Let's watch this again. This is the legend of Mike Pantages, who jumped out of the stands on this day in 1995 at a Chicago Bears Green Bay Packers Monday Night Football game. Let's watch it one more time. Here you go.
History, too. Oh, yeah. Let's go back to the game.
All right, there you have it. That is the legend of Mike Pantages, noted cocaine dealer. He was like one of those club coke dealers, or he's got a lot of. Anyway, people who buy coke from him came out of the closet, and they're like, "Hey, just so you know, that guy that's being celebrated, he's a coke dealer," or something like that. I don't know. Somebody's either a coke dealer or prostitutes, or maybe both. I don't know. Whatever. It turned out he was very much a Chicago guy. He had a bunch of different things going on. Played football, Sullivan High School. Nobody asked you, Mike. Nobody. He's grinding his teeth. He's like, he's all coked up out of his mind because it's 1995 and there's no fentanyl in that shit. What a day. I'll never forget. We're sitting there watching the game, and it was Kevin Farley who noticed it. Kevin goes, "Wait, what?" And I said, "Wait, what are you talking about?" He said, "Dude just jumped out. I think somebody just fell out of the stands." That's what he said. Somebody just fell out of the stands. So the way that video is, it was cut. It was edited. There was a lot of time before they went back and showed it again. Like, in the video we just watched, they're like, "We want you to look real closely." That was actually 3 minutes in a commercial break after it actually happened. So when Kevin Farley said to me, he goes, "I think somebody just fell out of the stands." We didn't have a way to rewind. We were in a bar. I'm just so remember immediately Doc, who was our executive producer, who was also there at the appearance. I remember him immediately coming to me and going, "You got to get him on the show tomorrow." And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I'll get him on." Meanwhile, I'm going, "How the fuck am I supposed to get him on?" Ponytail man. We did though. We got him on. That's fun. All right, guys. That's gonna do it. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I want us to all just kind of work on. Look, I'm not gonna tell you let's not be divisive, but let's do baby steps in this whole thing, right? Instead of just fucking hating each other. I'm not saying don't not hate each other. I'm not saying don't be divisive. I'm saying let's just spend the next couple of days being aware that we are divisive. And then should our own conscience dictate that we make some changes in our own behavior, so be it. But all I ask is that we all just acknowledge, wow, we really are a divided nation. Maybe somebody should do something about that. Start with yourself. Start with ourselves. Before we try and fix everything else, let's just establish what truth is. Because as it turns out, I don't think many of us know. Tip the show if you can. Venmo or you're the best. Bye.